Hello, friends. Today I just want to talk a little bit about what I know about the Meiji Jingu Gaien Redevelopment Plan. Meiji Jingu is the Meiji Shrine in Tokyo, and the Gaien is a large park in the center of Tokyo owned by the shrine. And it's traditionally a place where baseball and rugby have been played, and also there's a picture gallery, which is actually the shrine's picture gallery. There is tennis. There is a very beautiful row of ginkgo trees, and there is also the National Stadium. In fact, that has recently been rebuilt with the design of Kuma Kengo, or Kengo Kuma, if we're putting him in Kengo being his first name in English. And that's pretty good. I like it. It's very, it's not covered over, and it's a pretty good stadium, I think. Quite worthy of Japan, and an improvement certainly on the previous national stadium, which was there. However, I want to just show a drawing of the projected facilities. Let me just share the screen here. This is from the Tokyo Metropolitan Government's documentation on the web. Okay, we've got the Meiji Memorial Picture Gallery, where I've actually given a lecture on one occasion, connected with Ernest Sato. And then here's the National Stadium, which is already open and was used for the Olympics, recent Tokyo Olympics, and also is being used certainly for rugby and no doubt for other sports. What concerns me is, well, several things. There are lots of people who are concerned about the ginkgo trees and whether the redevelopment here, these are the ginkgo trees, whether the redevelopment will disturb their roots, which seems quite likely to me, although I have no professional knowledge of that. Here, the park is actually shrinking. It's getting smaller. The Gaien is getting smaller, I'm sure, because these offices are and various mixed-use building A and B. These are not here, are not there at the moment, as far as I understand it. And here is where currently the Chichibu Nomiya Rugby Stadium is, named after Prince Chichibu, the imperial prince, who loved rugby, and opened, I think, in it was Tokyo Rugby Stadium, and then renamed, I think, in 1950 to Chichibu Nomiya Stadium in honor of the prince who loved rugby. But look what's happened. They're swapping over. Over here, there used to be the Meiji Jingu baseball stadium. And what they've done, or what they're planning to do, sorry, is to swap around these two. So we've got something called a rugby facility here, which is a covered stadium with 10,000 less, I think, capacity than the present open air stadium here. So going down from 27,000 to 17,000. Now you may say, well, people can also play rugby here in the National Stadium, but I think that slightly misses the point. The other thing I would say about this rugby facility, I don't like the word facility at all in connection with rugby, but if you have a roof on a covered roof over a rugby ground, that changes the dynamics quite a lot, in as much as it removes the elements, the wind, the rain, the sun, from the mix, and therefore reduces the decision making in the rugby game, which I think is a pity. So I'm not really in favour of covered stadiums for rugby anyway, because I think it sanitizes the sport. But anyway, why? I mean, who knows what they're going to call this thing when it's finally built? Will they actually call it the Prince Chichibu Stadium, or will they'll probably give it naming rights to be sold to some company. And yeah, why do the baseball and rugby have to swap round? I mean, whose idea was that? I have no idea, but it just seems crazy. It seems wrong, because the Meiji Jingu baseball stadium is a traditional stadium, which has been over here it's where it says rugby facility. It's been here for years, and the rugby has been here for years. So what are they doing swapping them round? It just it seems all wrong to me. It's as if the actual places where rugby has been played and baseball's been played just don't matter. You know, you just rearrange them in the park. You know, which sort of doesn't show much respect to the sports themselves, is the way I feel about that. Well, there are online petitions. There's one on change.org about this. And so for people who are concerned enough, I think you probably find it under Meiji Jingu Gaien Development Plan or Redevelopment Plan. And you can also find the lengthy documents by the Tokyo Metropolitan Government. And then the Asahi has also reported there is at least one body connected with UNESCO, I think it is, that has expressed concern about the trees. Well, to conclude, I think this is a very precious part of central Tokyo. And although it is claimed, I think, by the government that in the end, the number of trees might actually increase, that might take an awful long time if they're going to knock down trees now, cut them down, and then perhaps replant or plant new ones. So if you believe that that's what's going to happen. And then I think it's also claimed that there will actually be more green space. Again, claimed in the government, Tokyo Metropolitan Government documents. I don't know. I mean, obviously, I don't know that level of detail, but I do think that they are messing around with this rather important park, and that it's not just the stakeholder. There are many stakeholders, not just the Meiji Shrine and Itochu Company, which has a big building next to Chichibunomiya, and what else? The Japan Sports Council, and there's one other, which escapes me at this present time. But the citizens of Tokyo surely have a stake in this, which is probably why the petition is almost at 200,000 signatures now, the online petition. Okay, I think I've burbled on enough about this now. So thank you very much, and I'll leave it there. Thank you. Bye.